Good morning. I'm Les. Morning Java with Les. I hope you're drinking a coffee right now. Cheers. I'm going to tackle a question that I've been asked numerous times. It has to do with why are these coyotes hanging up on me whenever I'm calling? Some guys are saying they're calling and coyotes are coming to 1,000 yards and will not come any closer, and other people say 400 yards and 500 yards and they're hanging up. Well, I'm going to talk a little bit about that. There's a reason they're doing it. In all the coyote calling that I do across the country and all the stands I make, I have a few instances where a coyote will hang up on me, but not many. Typically, there's a reason behind it, and I want to get into that. Let's take a look at my white chalkboard. Okay, so right here, why coyotes hang up? The number one reason that we could all jump to is they've been called before. That's a pretty common assumption, and it's one that I would lead to too. If I saw certain body language exhibits from the coyote. Typically, if I'm in an area where they have been called before, a lot of times you'll have one, if he has been called or shot at, he's going to start warning barking. So he's going to start barking like crazy. And sometimes they've seen you walk in or they've been called. And you'll know that as if you call and it just instantly starts barking at you. They saw you walk in or they've been called before. But typically if a coyote's coming in and he comes up on top of a high hill or he comes to a fence line or whatever and he stops and he will not come closer, there's typically a reason behind it. So we can assume that he may have been called before. Okay, now the second one, I've had this happen before too, where they actually are coming in hard and then they'll hit a fence line and they just hit the skids and will not come any closer. And then they'll go right down the fence line. I've had coyotes do that before, and typically what I think, and I may be wrong, but the coyote that I had coming in one time, it looked like a big old male coyote. It was a bigger coyote and he was just ripping in, but as soon as he hit that fence line, he started going right down the fence line. And I think he had a problem with another coyote, and that was the territorial marker, and he wasn't going to go into the other coyote's territory, and that coyote wasn't to come into his, but he had a scuffle with that coyote before, so he was coming over just madder than heck, and he wanted to get at that coyote. So it could easily be a territorial thing. And with a territorial boundary on a coyote, it could be something as simple as just a tree line on a half-mile line, if it's just a hedge line, or say it's an edge of a thick woods. It could be right on that timber line. That is that coyote's boundary. Another boundary could be a stream going through solid woods or out in the wide open. Just that edge of that stream, everything back behind the coyote, that's his territory. On the other side of the stream, that's another coyote's territory. A top of a hill or a ridge. That's typically, you'll see a coyote come up on top of a hill and sometimes they'll just stop right there. That's a good sign that could be a territorial corner post where that coyote's not going to come down into the next draw. Another common territorial boundary is a fence line. I've seen coyotes do it numerous times. They'll come to a fence, will not come any closer. They'll go right down the fence, but they will not cross the fence. And typically territorial. Another boundary is a road. Just something as simple as a 2-track trail going through the countryside or a logging trail in the woods, they won't cross it if that's another coyote's territory. And say he had a scuffle, one male had a scuffle with another male coyote, sometimes they will not cross that just because of that. Okay, now it could be something, we're going to move into the realm that the coyote's coming in, but he's just acting different, okay? He hit the top of a hill, he started coming over it, and then boom, he stopped. Okay, to me, he saw something that he did not like. Okay, he saw somebody bringing their binos down and he saw a flicker, or he saw somebody moving their rifle and saw a flash because of all the metal, and with the sun glaring, something flashed. That's all it takes for a coyote, and you will hold them up and they will stop dead in their tracks. A lot of times when people tell me that, oh, this coyote was coming in good and he just hit the brakes, he's seen you. He saw you moving, and you think you're Commando Joe, and you're not. You know, those coyotes have such a tremendously good eyesight that they can pick so much out. So you've got to keep your movement to a minimum and pay attention, because they're going to pick you out if you're not careful. The gun shining, person moving. The number one thing, in my opinion, whether it was someone was moving, that happens a lot. They pick you out on the side of a hill. They pick you out moving on a tree line. You're moving your head a lot, and that coyote comes to the edge of the woods and he spots you. Well, in my opinion, that's a very important one. And another one is, and I've talked about this a lot in my television show, I didn't get to be 6'1" and 175 pounds because I park on a road and walk 10 feet and make a stand. I walk, and I walk 400 yards. I walk 300 yards. I walk a half mile. I do a lot of walking. You've got to get away from the roads. Granted, we all want to pull down in the draw, walk to the top of the hill, make a stand. Those coyotes, most of them, they know where the roads are at, okay? You're parking too close to a road. It's a county road. That coyote knows, there's a road over there. I'm not going over there. Get off the road. Quit being lazy. Get out off your high horse and get out there and do some walking. Lose some weight, give yourself a workout, trudge back in there further, and your coyote success, calling success, is going to go up. I've never been one to like easy street. I've never been that way. I would not have gotten to where I am today had I taken easy street, okay? I feel like parking and walking in right off of a road and you're too close to it, that's the number one factor why coyotes hang up, in my opinion. That, or they saw something they didn't like. They're seeing somebody move, they're seeing somebody do something. I've hunted with people that told me they don't move, and I've watched coyotes start to spook only to look to see that person moving. You're kidding yourself if you think they can't see you, okay? It's easy to pass the blame onto something else and to not want to admit that you could have been moving or something. You've got to be stealth mode to be successful in killing and taking coyotes. Get out there, do some walking, get away from the roads. Some places you can call by the roads. If they aren't traveled a lot and the coyotes are tame, sure, you can do it. I've done it. I've had a lot of success. But when I feel like I've got to walk, if I've got to walk a half mile, I'm doing it because I know I can kill one out there. That's why I'm doing it. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you subscribe to my channel. Please share it with a friend that you think this might be some of the reasoning why the coyotes are hanging up on him, so he can get a better understanding from hearing from me, and it will sink into his head. And I hope you give me the thumbs up. That'll help me in the search engine criteria and just helps me all around to get more views. And lastly, please hit that little bell right by the subscribe, and it will notify you right when I have a video out. Until next time, let's do Morning Java with Les again.